I've listened to enough amplifiers in the 40 years I've been to know a good tone when I hear one, and I wanted my favorite lead tones to be a basic preset, the starting point for the distortion channel. So when you press on the distortion channel and all the dials are at 0 or 12 o'clock, I want it to sound awesome, to where it just needs very slight variations to personal taste, you know, but the fundamental sound is there. You know, we worked hard. It took a while, but we got a really wonderful result, you know, and I'm using it exclusively. It's my sound. You know, there was a few guitar players in the audience last night going, "Man, I can't believe it's not tubes. I can't believe it's not tubes." And that was the whole aim. We were trying to, I was wanting Carvin to come up with something that sounded as good as tubes without the tubes. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of skeptics, you know, until they actually plug it in and listen to it. And, you know, then they'll be converted for sure. It is possible to have a good tone without tubes. It has two pretty cool mid parametrics that you can really get dialed in tones. You can really get a lot of variety from this machine. But you know, I think all preamps should have certain basics. They should have at least 4 basic settings, like two good clean settings, a couple of good distortion settings, and maybe a couple of crunch settings to give you basically like a 6-channel or 6 basic starting points. And I think they should all be programmable for sure. So digital front end where it's all programmable. The biggest and most fundamental thing is how it sounds. You know, it sounds really wonderful, and it has the capability of dialing anything, whether it be for acoustic guitar. I used my acoustic guitar through it. It's hard to get a preamp that will sound good for acoustic guitar, electric guitar, a solid body electric guitar, and I play acoustic archtop jazz guitars too. So something that covers all those dynamics is pretty rare. The thing that blows my mind is how cheap it is. I mean, cheap only in price, for goodness sakes, because the tone is incredible. You know, you could spend thousands on a preamp and not come close to the facility and the tone of this machine. So, I mean, you know, everybody's got to be cost conscious. I mean, I've noticed that to be a factor of pretty much all of Carvin's products, mostly because they sell direct to public, you know, they go straight from the factory to the consumer. There's no middle markups, and so, you know, I wouldn't want people thinking that just because it doesn't cost much that it's a cheap product, or it's not a good product. It's a phenomenal product at a phenomenal price, and to me that's the ultimate. I've got the DCM 1000, which is a solid-state power amp. It's a PA power amp, you know. I also don't like, this is personal of course, tube power amps. You know, not enough power on tube power amps to my taste, and not enough clarity. The low end gets all spongy and unclear, you know. I like a clear, defined tone throughout the whole register of the instrument, from lows. I like it to be clear there. Anywhere you play on the instrument, it sounds clear at high volume, and so you need a lot of headroom to do that. So this DCM 1000 pumps about, I think it's at least 250 watts a side into my 8-ohm cabs. So, and I'm using two of these Caravan 212 GT12 speakers too, with the open backs. They sound very beautiful. In fact, I just got some to try, and I was using Marshall quad boxes for a long time, and my engineer fell in love with them. My engineer, Robert Biles, who's engineered all my records, he's going, man, they sound better than the Marshall things. They sound, I said, well, yeah, we listened to them, we A/B'd them, and they really did sound better to my ears. So I think people ought to do more blindfold tests, you know, because people are so brand driven that, you know, if it's not a Boogie or a Marshall, or if it's not a Les Paul or a Strat, you know, it can't be good, you know. People just buy brand names that are, guitar players tend to be very traditional, you know. They don't, not always as receptive to new things out there, new products. And if you just did it purely with your ears, you know, I think a lot of these Caravan products would be chosen if it purely came down to just listening. So, and ultimately, that's what we make. We're guitar players. We make sound, and your sound is everything. So it's got to be the most important thing. So, you know, close your eyes and listen, and really judge, and even make your own comparisons if you get a chance to, between some of these Caravan products and everything else that's out there. And they certainly hold up.